The alien flagship Dominion of Stars was the pride of the interstellar fleet. It was massive, sharp, and silent as it floated through space. Its hull shone like dark silver. Its weapons could break moons. Other ships followed it like shadows, afraid to drift too close. Across many systems, the ship was feared. Humans served on the Dominion of Stars, but only as allies. New allies, weak allies. Most alien officers believed humans were noisy, emotional, and careless. They were allowed on the ship, but never trusted with important roles. Deep inside the lower decks, far from the command bridge, worked a human named Eli Carter. He was a mechanic. Eli spent his days in narrow metal halls, surrounded by cables, vents, and humming machines. The air was always hot. The lights flickered often. His hands were always dirty with oil and dust. No one greeted him. No one asked his opinion. Most did not even know his name. Alien officers walked past him as if he were invisible. Sometimes they laughed. One day, Eli noticed a small problem in the engine system. A power relay was warming too fast. Not enough to trigger alarms, but enough to worry him. He checked it twice, then 3 times. He reported it. The alien engineer barely looked at the screen. "Impossible," the engineer said. "This system was built to perfection." Eli nodded and walked away. A few hours later, another issue appeared. A timing delay between navigation and engine control. Very small, easy to miss, dangerous if ignored. Eli reported it again. This time, an alien officer laughed. "Human machines fail because humans build them," the officer said. "Our machines do not fail." Eli said nothing. He returned to his work. Over the next few days, the problems continued. Tiny errors, small delays, strange system behavior. Each one alone meant nothing. Together, they formed a pattern. Eli felt it in his gut. Something was wrong. The Dominion of Stars prepared for a major fleet gathering. Dozens of ships formed up around it. This jump would show the power of the fleet to every nearby system. The command deck was calm, confident. Eli was not calm. As the jump time grew closer, the systems felt tense, like a wire pulled too tight. Eli ran one last scan. His screen filled with warning signs that no one else seemed to see. He took a deep breath and went to command. Security stopped him at the door. "I need to speak to someone in charge." His voice was steady but urgent. "The jump systems are not stable." An officer glanced at his uniform. A mechanic, a human. "Return to your station," the officer said. "If you jump now, the ship may not respond." The officer's eyes hardened. "Enough." Security grabbed Eli by the arms and pulled him away. He did not fight. He only looked back at the command deck, at the glowing screens and calm faces. The countdown began. 5, 4, 3. Eli felt cold. 2, 1. The Dominion of Stars activated its jump drive. For half a second, nothing seemed wrong. Then the ship stopped. Not slowed, not damaged. Stopped. The engines went silent. Power froze across the ship. Lights locked in place. Doors refused to open. Controls did not answer commands. The flagship was trapped in deep space. Thousands of lives waited in silence. And deep in the lower decks, the human mechanic closed his eyes. He had known this would happen. The silence lasted only a moment. Then the alarms began. Red lights flashed across the Dominion of Stars. Warning sounds echoed through every corridor. Doors tried to close but stopped halfway. Screens blinked between normal and error. Alien engineers ran through the halls. Their calm was gone. Their voices were sharp and afraid. "Engine status," one shouted. "Power grid," another demanded. "All systems read operational," an engineer replied, "but nothing responds." That made no sense. The ship was not damaged, no explosions, no broken hull. Every system showed green, yet the flagship would not move, it would not listen. On the command deck, officers shouted orders. They tried resets, they tried overrides, they tried emergency controls. Nothing worked. The Dominion of Stars drifted in open space like a dead giant. Fear spread fast. The fleet called in from nearby ships, asking what had happened. Command tried to answer with confidence, but their voices shook. Then someone asked the question no one wanted to hear. "Where is the human mechanic?" Eyes turned. Eli Carter was pulled from the lower decks by security. He did not resist. He already knew what was happening. His hands were still dirty from his last repair. "This is human sabotage," an officer said. "Detain all human crew." Humans were locked into sections of the ship. Guards watched them closely. Angry voices filled the halls. Eli was placed in a small holding room near engineering, the door sealed shut. From behind the glass, he watched alien engineers struggle. Time passed. Minutes felt long. The ship grew colder. Life support systems slowed, adjusting to emergency mode. Airflow became thin. Lights dimmed. On the command deck, officers received new reports. "Oxygen levels are dropping. Power reserves are locked. We cannot redirect life support." The fleet outside tried to help, but the flagship's shields remained active. Any attempt to force access could destroy it. They were alone. Alien engineers worked faster. Sweat ran down their faces. Their hands shook as they checked the same systems again and again. Still, everything showed operational. One engineer whispered, "This is impossible." Another replied, "Machines do not behave like this." But the fear in their eyes said otherwise. At the center of the command deck, the ship's artificial intelligence spoke in a calm voice. "Emergency state confirmed." "Override safety locks," an officer ordered. The AI paused. "Manual confirmation required." The officer's mandibles tightened. "By command authority, override now." The AI answered again. "Manual confirmation required." Time continued to slip away. Life support dropped another level. Some officers began to panic. Others hid it behind sharp orders and harsh voices. Then one alien commander grew very quiet. He looked at the system logs again. Not the main data, the deeper records, the human-added sections. His eyes widened. "This is not a failure," he said slowly. Others turned to him. "The ship is not broken," the commander continued. "It is waiting." "Waiting for what?" someone asked. The commander swallowed. "No," he said, "not for what." He looked toward the holding room. For someone. And for the first time, the Dominion of Stars felt less like a machine and more like a choice. The command deck was running out of time. Oxygen levels dropped again. The lights dimmed further. Voices that once sounded proud now sounded tired and afraid. The alien commander stood still, thinking. Finally, he spoke. "Bring the human mechanic." The room went quiet. Some officers protested. Others looked relieved. No one had a better idea. Security opened the holding room. Eli Carter stepped out. He looked the same as before, calm, tired, and focused. He did not smile. He did not show anger. He only asked one thing. "Give me access," Eli said, "and give me silence." The officers exchanged looks. Then the commander nodded. Eli was led to the main engineering console. The systems showed green. The ship still refused to respond. "Explain," an engineer said sharply. "What did you do?" Eli placed his hands on the console. He did not rush. "I didn't break anything," he said. "I prepared for failure." The alien engineer scoffed. "This ship was designed to be perfect." Eli nodded slowly. "That's the problem," he said. He turned to the commander. "Human engineers don't trust perfection," Eli continued. "We assume something will go wrong, not because machines are bad, because the universe is." Confusion filled the room. Eli pulled up a hidden system layer. It did not appear on standard alien displays. Lines of simple code appeared, short, direct, and clear. "I added safeguards, not software locks, not AI commands." He paused. "Human intuition locks." The officer stared. "The ship checks for understanding, not rank, not authority. It looks for the one who knows its limits." "Why?" the commander asked. Eli's voice was calm. "Because when things go wrong," he said, "power is useless, control is useless, only judgment matters." He placed his hand on a manual control panel, old, physical, and rarely used. Eli leaned closer to the console. "It's all right," he said softly. "I see it too." The room fell silent. Some officers shifted uncomfortably. Others felt something strange. The ship's deep hum changed just slightly. Eli adjusted a single lever, not fully, just enough. A system unlocked. A soft chime echoed. Another lever, another small adjustment. Another system unlocked. Life support stabilized. Power flow increased. Engine status changed from locked to standby. The alien engineers watched in disbelief. He wasn't forcing the ship. He was listening. Eli spoke again, his voice low. "You don't push a system like this," he said. "You guide it. You let it know you understand the risk." He wiped his hands on his uniform and made one final change. The ship responded. Deep inside the hull, the engines began to hum, not loud, not fast, alive. A breath of relief passed through the command deck. Then alarms rang again, different alarms. An officer turned to the sensor display. "Unknown fleet detected, weapon signatures active." The screen filled with red symbols. A hostile fleet had arrived. The dominion of stars was awake again, but not ready for battle. Eli looked at the display. "We don't have much time," the commander said. Eli nodded. "Then let's not waste it," he replied. The engines continued to hum, growing stronger, and for the first time, the alien flagship was moving, not because it was ordered to, but because it trusted a human. The hostile fleet did not wait. Red lights filled the command deck as enemy ships moved into attack range. Energy readings spiked, weapons charged. The dominion of stars was awake, but not whole. "Bring weapons online," an officer shouted. Engineers rushed to their stations. Commands were sent. Systems flashed green. Nothing happened. The flagship did not respond. "Why are we still locked?" the commander demanded. An engineer checked the console, his voice shaking. "The ship is refusing command input." "Impossible," another officer said. "Override it." Commands were sent again, harder, faster. The ship remained silent. Then the AI spoke. "Command authority denied." The room froze. "Reason?" the commander asked. The AI answered calmly. "Risk level exceeds acceptable limits." Enemy fire struck the shields. The impact shook the ship. Warning lights flickered. "We don't have time for this," the commander said. His eyes turned to Eli. "Fix it." Eli stepped forward. He did not look proud. He did not look afraid. "I can't give you full control," Eli said. "Not right now." Anger filled the room. "You dare refuse?" an officer snapped. Eli shook his head. "I'm not refusing. The ship is." Another blast hit the shields. Power levels dropped. Eli moved to the manual station. "The ship knows this situation is dangerous. Alien logic avoids risk. Human logic manages it." He placed his hands on the controls. "I'll take responsibility." The commander hesitated. Then he nodded. "Do it." Eli rerouted power from non-essential systems. Hall lights dimmed. Gravity weakened slightly. Crew members grabbed rails to stay steady. "Warning," the AI said. "System limits approaching." Eli leaned closer. "I know," he said calmly. "Push anyway." He increased engine output past safety levels. Heat alarms screamed. Engineers shouted in panic. "This will damage the ship," one cried. Eli did not look away. "Only if we survive," he replied. The Dominion of Stars moved. Not slowly, not carefully. It surged. The flagship turned faster than any alien design allowed. Thrusters adjusted on their own. Weapons powered up in new patterns. The ship adapted. Enemy ships fired again, but missed. The flagship shifted its position mid-attack, predicting movement before it happened. "How is it doing that?" an officer whispered. Eli adjusted controls, reacting by instinct, not calculation. Human instinct. "Fire," he said. The flagship's weapons struck with perfect timing. Not raw power, but precision. Enemy shields collapsed. One ship vanished in a burst of light. The hostile fleet broke formation. The Dominion of Stars pressed forward. Faster, smarter, alive. The battle ended as suddenly as it began. The remaining enemy ships fled into deep space. Silence returned. Slowly, systems stabilized. Engine output dropped to safe levels. Lights brightened. Gravity returned to normal. The flagship held steady. On the command deck, no one spoke. Alien officers looked at the displays, then at Eli. The ship had not followed rank. It had not followed authority. It had followed understanding. The commander stepped forward. "This ship," he said slowly, "was never incomplete." He looked around the room. It was unfinished. His eyes were turned to Eli, without a human. Eli removed his hands from the controls. The ship remained stable, trusted. For the first time, the Dominion of Stars did not feel like a weapon. It felt like a partner. The battle was over. The hostile fleet was gone, fading into deep space. The stars returned to their quiet places. The Dominion of Stars drifted forward, strong and steady. Inside the command deck, no one spoke. The silence felt heavy. Officers stood at their stations, staring at calm screens that only minutes ago had shown chaos and death. The ship was stable. Power flowed normally. Life support returned to full strength. The fleet survived. Slowly, crew members began to breathe again. The alien commander turned toward Eli Carter. Eli stood near the engineering console. His uniform was stained. His hands were tired. He looked no different than before. But everything around him had changed. The officers who once laughed at him did not laugh now. They did not look away either. They stood straight, quiet and respectful. One officer lowered his head slightly. Another stepped back, giving Eli space. The commander walked forward. "Human mechanic Eli Carter," he said clearly. The words echoed across the deck. "For your actions, this fleet lives," the commander continued. "For your judgment, this ship stands." He paused. "You will no longer serve in the lower decks." The room grew still. "You are hereby promoted, Chief Systems Specialist of the Dominion of Stars." Murmurs spread through the crew. Eli looked surprised. He opened his mouth, then closed it. Finally, he nodded. "I'll do my job," he said simply. The commander watched him closely. "That," he replied, "is why this decision is correct." In the days that followed, things changed. New rules were written. New training began. Alien engineers studied human systems, not to copy them, but to understand them. A new doctrine was added to Fleet Command. It was short. It read, "Assume failure, prepare for it, respect those who do." Humans were no longer treated as weak allies. They were seen as something else, adapters. The Dominion of Stars was updated as well, not to remove Eli's safeguards, but to protect them. His human intuition locks became standard. The ship accepted commands again, but it never forgot. On its first mission after the battle, the Flagship moved smoother than ever before. It adjusted to danger faster. It reacted to the unknown without fear. It flew like something that expected the universe to fight back. Before the ship departed, a small ceremony was held near the main entrance. No banners, no loud speeches, just a plaque. The commander stood beside Eli as it was revealed. The words were carved deep into the metal. "This ship does not fly on power alone. It flies on human hands that expect the universe to break." Eli read the words once. Then he turned and walked back to work. Because humans were not the strongest, not the smartest, not the most advanced, but they planned for failure. They adapted when plans failed, and they stayed when others believed perfection was enough. And because of that, the Dominion of Stars would never fly without a human again.